Welcome to this video presentation. The video content is informed by knowledge and learning from the Hibernia PME programme as well as desktop research. The learning intentions are that at the end of my video you can justify my rationale, verify my methodology is differentiated, confirm I've embedded cross-curricular links and key skills, and validate my teaching subject mastery. Economics is now embedded in the 3 years of the Business Studies programme. Learning Outcome 3.1 requires that students should be able to explain the economic meaning of scarcity and how it is linked with human decision making. Scarcity is the basic economic problem fundamental to managing my resources and exploring business, which justifies teaching it. Now, topic overview. The basic economic problem is that we want the world, but it is costing the earth. In other words, our wants and needs are unlimited, but economic resources are scarce. This scarcity forces us to make choices. The zero price rule states that if I tried to provide the product for free, there wouldn't be enough to go around. So, the challenges. Students often think scarcity is more of a problem for the poor, or they think people face scarcity, but governments have endless resources. Or they miss that producers make choices in the same way consumers do. They understand that demand can outstrip supply, but they miss that scarcity means that to have more you have to give something up. By choosing the expected value of one opportunity, you are refusing the expected value of its best alternative. The teaching and learning challenge here is for students to understand trade-offs. If I do this, what do I not do instead? If I buy this, what do I not buy instead? I have €80. My option is to buy a video game or a concert ticket. I choose the video game, so the opportunity cost is the concert ticket. You can link the teaching of financial cost and opportunity cost, so students can make informed decisions about their expenditure. Now, the next challenge. The economic meaning of scarcity differs from its meaning in everyday speech. So, to help to differentiate, create online games to help students master the topic's language. They then compete against the computer or in an online class forum, which motivates learning. Moving from challenges to methodologies. Human decision-making is a very abstract concept for young adolescents, so best avoid telling or presenting as I have just done with you. Rather, create active teaching methods to include all learners. Begin with a hook as they arrive to class in order to stimulate interest in the topic and assess prior learning. If you don't think like an economist, it is reasonable to assume that scarcity is not a problem for Bill Gates. From the primary school curriculum, they'll have a basic awareness of the economic world, and may already know from business studies that time, as well as skills and money, is a personal resource. To assess this, I ask them to vote and use what I observe to set direction for the remainder of class. In pairs, students take a moment to consider this question. Give them time to reflect, and then discuss how their choice to attend class and what they gave up in order to do so is part of the issue of scarcity and how they dealt with it. Verbalizing knowledge like this improves economic literacy and long-term recall of learning. Students learn even more when they teach the topic to a peer. A further differentiated teaching method is video animation, particularly for visual and oral learners. I use this anticipation worksheet, which I will share with you. It really motivates students to actively engage while watching the video. You can also use ICT to embed numeracy in teaching the topic. In this excerpt on choosing work or play, the production's possibility frontier is a straight line because the return from time is constant.
So to illustrate these trade-offs, we must label our production possibilities curve with those two options. You can either work, which you're going to put on the vertical axis here, or you can play, which we will put on the horizontal axis. Now, what is the most amount of time you could spend working in a day if you had 16 hours in that day? Well, you could clearly spend up to 16 hours working. So we're going to put a 0 here for our origin, indicating that you are spending 0 hours working and playing. And then we're going to label each of the points along this graph with the number of hours spent working and the number of hours spent playing. Up to 16 hours of work and up to 16 hours of play. So if you chose to spend 16 hours working, you would be producing at a point which we will call point A on your production possibilities curve. On the other hand, you may have chosen to spend 16 hours playing in a day, which would put you at a point down here on your production possibilities curve. We'll call this point B. Now let's be realistic here. It's highly unlikely that you would spend 16 hours working in a day. It's also unlikely that you would spend absolutely no time working and 16 hours playing. So what we have is a line connecting these dots, which illustrates the different combinations of work and play that you have to choose from in the 16 hours during which you are awake in a particular day.
Before asking students to express the idea of trade-offs mathematically, a good idea is to anchor the concept in a walking debate. Students can choose one of the following topics for discussion and debate to develop their oracy skills and knowledge of key economic terms. You can use teacher observation to assess students' understanding of the following: that most choices involve doing a little more or a little less of something. You can invite the class to research the term marginal benefit on YouTube to differentiate for GAT students. Now that students can talk about scarcity and choice in economic terms, we progress to expressing it mathematically. They model the graph from the video, and I recommend you construct a features of quality checklist with your class to develop accurate labelling of economic diagrams, and they can then use this for self-assessment. Be explicit that they should not use terms like up or down, nor in and out. And demonstrate this visually so all learners are included. The curve shifts to the left. To role-play real life, you can bring to class an item, perhaps a gourmet chocolate bar, something you know many students will want. Explain your economic problem, which is that you didn't have enough money to buy the item for everyone, so they, the students, must decide how to allocate it. As part of a Think, Pair, Share teaching method group, their answers into standard categories of resource allocation, for example, auction, competition, equal, need, merit. Get them to vote and distribute the chocolate according to the allocation method they choose. Point out that this activity is reflective of how economies throughout the world allocate scarce resources. Now is a good time to assess understanding that governments and producers make decisions about distributing scarce resources in the same way individuals do. Recap learning as part of lesson closure. Graphic organises for students to record their oral learning from the class debate includes all learners. Moving from differentiation to cross-curricular. You can link with science to introduce the concept of economic modelling. Explain that an economy is made up of billions of individuals acting in complex ways. It is incredibly difficult to guess what even one person might do, so the field of economics has borrowed an idea from chemistry, as you'll see in this short extract from a video.
Say molecules of gas. Well, you could imagine if you have a container here with trillions upon trillions of molecules, this is incredibly complex. But by making some simplifying assumptions about the type of interactions these particles will have or don't have, they can come up with models.
You can link economics with geography in a placemat learning activity about factors of production for the gourmet chocolate bar. I can share these colour-coded factors of production cards, which you can use to aid student recall, and also distribute a classification exercise, which distinguishes commonalities and exceptions across factors. I have embedded key skills throughout this lesson and recommend you assess one element by asking students for an exit post-it reflection as part of your end and send. As my video now ends, can you reflect on our learning intentions and what we have learnt? Can you justify my rationale for teaching the topic? Verify that my methodology is differentiated. Confirm I've embedded cross-curricular links and key skills, and validate my teaching subject mastery. Thank you.